All right, last video for the semester. I just wanted to give you guys a brief overview of plyometrics and how I incorporate plyometrics, okay? So let's start with just a basic definition of what a plyometric is. A plyometric typically is an explosive movement that is usually characterized by a rapid eccentric followed by a very rapid concentric movement, which that whole rapidness is really what that explosiveness is about. Okay, typically when we are employing plyometrics, right, we're trying to take advantage of two elements. One is called the series elastic component, right? The second element is the stretch shortening cycle, okay? For us in this class, right, KINS 1102, don't worry about those two, but you need to know that it's a rapid eccentric followed by a rapid concentric. Now, how do we program plyometrics? So there's some issues that I have with plyometrics, and again, this is just my view and how I've used them, right? For anything that's I would consider a true medium to high level plyometric, we try to incorporate these predominantly for athletes only, right? I don't think it's necessary to incorporate high-level plyometrics in the general population unless they want to, unless that's their goal. If they want to, let's say somebody comes in and says, hey, I want to dunk a basketball, or say somebody comes in and says, I want to do a box jump. All right, great, then we'll incorporate some higher-level plyometrics. But higher-level plyometrics like depth jumps, you can even say like a high box jump. A high box jump is a medium-level plyometric. I don't incorporate those for the general public because they're using it for different reasons. And here's a clear distinction that you guys must know, right? Medium to high level plyometric is primarily about force production. We are trying to produce as much force as quickly as possible. And that's what plyometrics are, right? Now, there are some low-level plyometrics, depending on who you are. Some people may consider jogging a low-level plyometric. Jump roping is a low-level plyometric, right? Low-level plyometrics, I try to reserve for conditioning of some sort usually, right? So jump rope is a great example where we will incorporate jump roping. We will incorporate something like line jumping where somebody just jumps side to side to side for 30 seconds, 40 seconds, whatever it is. And these, I think, are perfectly fine to serve as a conditioning tool, right? But the higher level stuff where we're trying to teach the human body to produce as much force as possible, as quickly as possible, should really be reserved for athletes or people that are trying to be as explosive as possible. If somebody's simply trying to lose weight, right, I'm not going to program a box jump, right? So that's where I think I have a clear distinction between like the way I program something, and again, I'm just using them as a general example, but a lot of CrossFits might program box jumps. I don't think it's appropriate. In fact, I think like for the general population, way too often you see people that like trip or fall over a box jump, and as part of a conditioning tool when people are getting fatigued, definitely inappropriate, right? So the way we program box jumps is we usually do 3 to 5 repetitions with like full recovery being about 60 seconds, give or take. So let's explain like what it would look like, right? So let's say we're looking at a mid to high level. A box jump is probably a medium level plyometric, right? A rapid eccentric, the lowering portion, right? Should be quick, because if you ever watched the NBA, right? If you've ever watched a basketball game before, right? When somebody's going up for a rebound, they don't go slowly and then jump, right? It's a rapid eccentric. So the eccentric is the lowering, it's down, right? And once again, it's up as quickly as possible. And that whole down-up component is really where you're trying to take advantage of the stretch shortening cycle, right? Our muscles go through this quick, rapid stretch, right? And then because of that, right, we have this neuromuscular tool, I'll say, the Golgi tendon organ, right? The muscle spindles, which are going to take advantage of that stretch, and you're going to produce more power because of that, right? So as you come down, right, we have these tools that are sensitive to how fast, right, that stretching of the muscles are, and how much force you're applying, okay? So it's going to look something like this. Down, up, quick, right? Ready? Okay, one more time. Typically when we're programming box jumps, right, we tell people, hey, you would never do it with slides. So I'm just providing a bad example. But B, right? When we land on the box, we want good landing mechanics. So we want our feet nice and balanced, just like a squat, right? You want to land, think squat. Mid-foot, not too much on the toes, not too much on the heels. Obviously, you want your foot to be entirely on the box because you don't want this box to fall. That's pretty much our basics of what a plyometric would look like. There's all sorts of plyometrics, higher level, lower level. So I already said the lower level might be something like a line jump or jump roping, right? A higher level plyometric, and this is a really high level, would be something like a depth jump, right? So a depth jump, and this is a very high box, right, is where somebody would step off a platform, they have to absorb the impact of the floor and then jump again. So something like this, where we're here with a quick jump, right? Typically, again, we reserve these high-level plyometrics for our athletes. You know, if I use basketball again as an example, when somebody jumps up, they come back into the ground, and for like a box jump, we always just stick it and hold it. But in a game, you don't do that, right? You come up, gravity's pulling you back down, right? There's a lot of force that your body's gonna have to quickly absorb, and then run, jump, transfer this in another direction. So that's why we'd use depth jumps for a more advanced population. That's all I got. If any of you guys have any questions, shoot me an email, let me know. Drop a comment, all works.